Every human is gone. Not dead, just gone, all at once, tonight. The lights don't know it yet. Right now, your city still glows like nothing happened. But no one is left to keep it glowing. So how long until the very last light goes out? Stay with me, because the final answer is not a light bulb at all. It's a strange blue glow, sealed underground, still shining 200 years from now. Which light lasts that long? Let's start the clock.
T plus 2 seconds. You're standing in an empty control room. One screen shows a single number, 60. That's 60 hertz, the grid's heartbeat. It's the balance between power made and power used. A human held it right there, every second, all day long. Now the chair is empty. The number tweaks, 59.9, then 59.8. It's starting to slide, and no hand is reaching for it. T plus 9 minutes. The number keeps falling. We've seen this edge before. In the Texas grid failure of 2021, it dropped about 1% down to 59.4 hertz. At that point, protective switches step in. If the balance doesn't recover in about 9 minutes, they trip the power plants offline to save the machines from tearing themselves apart. No one is here to recover it, so the first plant cuts itself loose. Then the next. T plus 15 minutes. Here's the part most people get wrong. The grid doesn't fade slowly, like a candle burning down. Each plant that drops leaves less power for the rest. So the number falls faster. More plants trip, faster still. It feeds on itself. It's called a cascade. Within minutes of that empty room, your whole region goes black. Not over days, minutes. From the sky, half a country blinks out at once. T plus 1 hour. Step outside. Every traffic light is dead, frozen on nothing. The street lamps that should be flicking on at dusk stay cold and gray. For over 100 years, a big city has never once been fully dark at night. Tonight, it is. Block by block, the warm orange glow drains out of the sky. Soon, the only light on the empty roads is the moon. And the few machines still fighting the dark are exactly the ones nobody is left to watch. The same minute. But look closer, because the map isn't all dark. A hospital, an airport, a data center. The instant the grid dropped, a switch flipped and their backup generators woke up. About 30 seconds, fully automatic, no human needed. These are the islands, little cyan dots in a black country, still glowing while everything around them is dark. They'll hold, for now. But every one of them is quietly asking the same question. How much fuel is left in the tank? And who is going to fill it? Quick thing before the tanks run low. This is the whole channel. One what if, one clock, lived out tick by tick until the very end. If that's your kind of thing, subscribe, and the next clock is already waiting for you. Now, back to the islands and their shrinking tanks. T plus 4 hours. You lift your phone out of habit. 1 bar, then none. The cell towers ran on backup batteries too, but those are only good for 4 to 8 hours. By now they're flat. No calls, no maps, no internet. The last message you tried to send just sits there, undelivered, forever. Even in a building where a light still burns, the web that tied it to the world is gone. One word left on the screen. Offline. Hour by hour, through the night, the islands blink out. That data center's diesel tank? Hours to days, then dry. The hospitals? The same story, just a bigger tank. No fuel truck is coming. Every one of these generators was only borrowing time from a tank someone else was supposed to refill. And nobody will. By the time the sun comes up, most of the small lights are already gone. So here's where it gets strange. If the grid died in 15 minutes,
Why isn't the whole planet pitch black by breakfast? Because a few machines don't need us at all. Some will still be running next year. And one of them will still be glowing long after everything you have ever touched has crumbled to dust. The rest of this clock is a race. Let's meet the survivors, slowest to die last.
First, the fossil plants. Coal, gas, and oil. They keep months of fuel on site, sometimes years. So you'd think they'd win. But they're already doomed on night one. No power means the pumps that feed them gas simply stall. The coal trains stop because the rail signals are dead. They sit on a mountain of fuel nobody can move to them. The whole supply chain that fed them died on night one. Big lights, short future. One by one, over the coming months, they starve in the dark.
Next, the nuclear plants. And here's a surprise.
They shut themselves down the instant the grid fell. It's called a scram, an automatic emergency stop that drops the reactor in seconds. Then their own emergency generators kick in to keep the hot fuel cool. But those need fuel in human hands too, and they get neither. The tanks run down. Within weeks to months, the cooling quietly fails, and the reactors fall silent for good. But don't forget this fuel. It comes back at the very end of our clock in a way you will not expect.
Now the marathon runner. A hydro dam.
Water falls, a turbine spins, electricity flows, and almost none of it needs a person standing there. The core parts are built to last around 70 years, so a dam could hum along in the dark for decades, lighting one empty valley with no one left to see it. Here's my question, and like this if you're still with me. How long do you think you would last once the last light near you goes out? Drop a number in the comments.
But even a dam wears out in the end.
Bearings grind, gates jam, water intakes choke. So which everyday light is the very last to switch on? Out on a lonely road, a small solar-powered lamp. It needs no operator and no fuel. Just the sun by day, a small battery by night. Nothing to break down, nothing to refuel. So years after every grid on Earth is dead, it still flickers awake at dusk, right on time. A tiny bulb on an empty road, keeping its schedule for absolutely no one.
And now, the last light of all.
It isn't a bulb. It isn't a plant. Deep in a sealed vault sits the old nuclear fuel we pulled from those dead reactors. And it glows. A faint, steady blue, all on its own. It's called Cherenkov radiation. It's the glow you get when radioactive particles race through water faster than light can travel in that water. One kind of atom in there, cesium-137, loses half its strength every 30 years. 200 years from now, it's still glowing at about 1%. The last human-made light on Earth. Blue, silent, underground, shining for no one at all.
Back to reality.
Would it really run this fast? The grid part, yes, it genuinely balances on a knife edge every single second, and it would not reboot on its own. Bringing a dead grid back needs what engineers call a black start, and most plants need outside power just to switch on. One study found that knocking out only 9 key substations could keep the real grid down for 18 months. It does not simply turn itself back on. So the lights around you tonight? They're held up by people you never think about. Here's the clock I'll leave you with. Your city goes dark tonight, and no one is coming. How long could you last? Tell me below. Next time, we start a new clock. Back to reality.